There are two ways to trade stocks or mutual funds in Fidelity: through a pop-up window or by going to the full screen trading page. I prefer the first method because it's quick, easy, and allows me to still view all the equities in my accounts. Select the trade option in the top left corner. A pop-up menu will appear with several options. First, choose what you would like to trade: stocks, options, mutual funds, crypto, etc. We are only focusing on stocks and mutual funds. I will select stocks/ETFs. Next, we need to choose which account to trade from. Select one. After selecting the account, I can see how much cash is available for trading. I have $410.19 in the account ready to invest. If you select the More Info icon, you will get extra details about cash balance availability. It also highlights the importance of avoiding good faith trading violations, which means you shouldn't trade with money you don't have. When I click in the symbol box, even before specifying the security I want to trade, a list of the current stocks, ETFs, or mutual funds in my selected account appears. This allows me to quickly pick securities I previously traded in this account. On the right of each security, I can see the number of shares I currently hold, which indirectly shows the composition of my investments in this account. I can select AAPL for Apple Inc. I can either choose a security I already hold or type in a new one by a ticker symbol or name and then select from the list. Make sure you know the correct ticker symbol, as large corporations often have different symbols for various stock offerings, including common, preferred, and others. For example, Alphabet, Google's parent company, offers two different stocks, one with voting rights and one without. Make sure you select the one that fits your needs before making your trade. I'm going to go back and select Apple. I see that the current stock price as of today and the current time. You can refresh the price at any time. Underneath, you have additional price and volume information. The bid is the price investors are willing to pay to buy that stock. The ask is the price investors are willing to sell the stock for. The difference between these two prices is called the spread. The spread on high volume stocks is very small, as in the case of Apple. Also, notice the number after the X, which shows how many shares people are willing to buy at the bid or sell at the ask divided by 100. So in this case, people are willing to buy 5 times 100, which is 500 shares of Apple stock at $223.86. And investors are ready to sell 200 shares at $223.87. The final number here is volume, which is simply the number of shares traded for a particular stock or investment over a specific period. Below, you have an option to either buy or sell the selected investment. If you try to sell a stock you don't own, you may commit a good faith trading violation, so only sell the stocks you own. We are going to buy more Apple shares, so I will select that button. The next step is to choose how many shares you want to buy. Since Apple stocks are at $223 per share, I will choose to buy 1 share. Next, I need to decide whether to buy that 1 share of Apple stock using a market or limit order. A market order tells Fidelity to buy the stock at the next available price. A market order stays active only for that trading day and usually results in a quick purchase. On the other hand, I can choose a limit order and set the maximum price I'm willing to pay for the Apple stock. I will set it at $223.00. This guarantees that if the trade goes through, it will be at that price or less. However, it's not guaranteed to be filled at all if no one is selling at that price. With limit orders, I also have to choose if I want the order to cancel at the market close if it's not executed, which is the day option, or I can choose the GTC, meaning good till canceled, which lasts for 180 days in hopes of finding a seller at that price during that time. Now let me give you an example of possible good faith violation. I currently have $410.19 available to trade in my account. If I try to buy 5 shares of Apple stock, the total would be $1,115, way above my available funds. I would need to either transfer more money to my account ASAP or sell some assets to cover the purchase. Keep in mind that it may take 1 to 3 days for certain transactions to settle, so don't buy stocks with money you don't yet have. We've covered buying whole shares, but most investors, including myself, prefer investing in round dollar amounts. Fidelity allows you to buy fractional shares. So let's go back to where I had to choose between shares and dollars. I'm going to pick the dollars option and enter 400, knowing I have 410 in my account. I don't need to calculate how many shares that is. Fidelity does it for me. After that, I can still choose the order type, market or limit. Now, if you would like to calculate the exact number of shares you can buy with your available funds, select the View Expanded Ticket option below. A Fidelity calculator will appear, allowing you to enter the amount of money you want to invest. It will then calculate how many shares you can buy. When you click the Apply button, the calculated number of shares will be copied to your quantity box. In this expanded view, you also have additional trading options beyond just market or limit orders. You can click Help for more detailed explanation of each option. Once you're satisfied with your order, you can preview and then place it. Do you need to report stock or mutual fund purchases on your taxes? No. Fidelity provides a summary of transaction statement, but you don't need to report purchases until you sell them. The second way to trade securities on Fidelity is by using the full page trade ticket. Click the 3 dots next to the trade button and select full page trade ticket. The options are the same, but you get a dedicated page for trading with more data available for the selected securities. For the Google stock I selected, I don't just see the bid, ask, and volume information. I also see the price range for the day and the 52-week price range, which helps me understand if the current price is low, average, or high compared to the rest of the year. I can also see the 90-day average trading volume, the next earning release, and the ex-dividend date. The ex-dividend date is important because it's a cut-off for receiving an upcoming dividend when buying or selling the security. Before we were buying a security, now let's sell it. I have 2 options for selling, sell and sell specific. For now, I will select sell. When I click on quantity, I can see the number of shares I currently own, and I can choose to sell them all. If I click on the calculator, I can enter the amount of money I want from the sell, let's say $500. It will calculate the approximate number of shares there would be and set this order as a limit with specific price per share. Now let's select Specify Shares. Here I can see all the Google stock purchases I have made over time. I can view the unrealized gain for each specific share and whether the share qualifies as short or long capital gains. Now let's break down this information so we can make smarter choices about which stocks to sell. We will do this by analyzing this transaction. On January 30th, 2023, I bought one share of Google stock at $97.30. If I sell that one share today at the current price of $165.74, I will have a gain of $68.44. This is considered a long-term capital gain because I held the stock for more than a year. It's also called an unrealized gain until I actually sell the stock. Now, what is the lot basis column? How do you read it? It shows the number of shares you bought at that particular time multiplied by the share price. Knowing that, now I can select to sell 3 specific Google shares that I have purchased over time. At the bottom, I can see the total amount of short and long-term gains. This matters because short-term capital gains are taxed at ordinary income tax rates, while long-term capital gains are taxed at 0%, 15%, or 20%, which is much more advantageous. When you sell stocks or mutual funds through Fidelity, you will receive a tax reporting statement, Form 1099-B, detailing your sales and any capital gains or losses. You will need to report this information on Form 8949, Disposition of Capital Assets, which then flows to Schedule D, summarizing your short and long-term capital gains and losses. Then, the total from Schedule D is reported on Form 1040, U.S. Individual Income Tax Return, on line 7, where it is added to your total income. This option gives better control over how much capital gains you realize and how much tax you will owe. You can also take advantage of tax loss harvesting here, meaning sell certain investments to offset gains and reduce your income. I'm going to specify these 3 shares. There are additional options for market and limit order types. Click Help for more detailed definitions. The Time in Force section also has some additional options and definitions. If I want more details on the stock, I can select the stock name at the top. As a Fidelity customer, you have access to market and analyst reports on that security. Now that I'm ready to sell these 3 shares, I will preview the order. Check the estimated gain or loss at the bottom. Click Place Order when you are ready to sell. Thanks so much for watching.